to be a Pentecostal minister.
What?
I was on my
What?
way. I was studying. I'm technically ordained. I have not. I did not go through with it. I didn't finish up. But yes, if there was a time where I stood in a pulpit and I preached the gospel of Jesus Christ, I was the guy on the street with the bullhorn. I was the person handing you a tract. That was
Whoa.
me. And when I say I was one of you, when I talk to the religious people, I was beyond
You
one
were
of
more
you.
than one of
I was
them.
beyond one of you. I was
Wow.
a zealot. I was
Wow.
beyond.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Okay, so you got
I've never, I
you
never
got religious street cred here.
I never talk about it.
Mhm.
I don't. It's a part of my life that, in many respects, brought me a lot of good.
Mhm.
It's a part of my life that was also, I think, damaging in
Okay.
some respects.
Mhm.
And I guess I don't know. I'm still conflicted about it.
All right.
People ask me if I believe in God, and I will not tell you the answer. Gotta
Okay.
leave something on the table, right?
Are we done here?
You know what? I'm ready to. Let's take up a collection. I need some money. We need to take up a collection right now.
For this sermon.
That's right. Yeah, Pastor Chuck needs a Mercedes-Benz.
Right. So this was just an explainer, just to catch you up on what might be the latest thinking along the lines of how did the universe get here? Or was it divine providence or some other way? Those are cool questions, some unanswered. Anyhow, until next time, as always, keep looking up.
Where does all the energy and matter come from to create the new universes? What would happen if the Milky Way galaxy stopped rotating?
I'm glad I'd never got through that many in my whole life.
To whomsoever it may concern. All right, what do you think you just like? What do you think this is? Science Friday?
Cosmic Queries. Galactic Gumbo.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is Star Talk. Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. This is going to be a Cosmic Queries grab bag. And whenever you hear that, you know who's sitting next to me. Chuck Nice.
Hey, that's right. What's up, Neil?
All right.
Grab bag, baby.
The grab bag, baby.
That's right. Used to be, I liked it when we were Galactic Gumbo.
Okay.
You know?
Live from New York, it's the show that has two pieces of breaking news.
Wow.
Slightly breaking. One, Embiid is out tonight. Two, that means you are looking for a new East Coast
I'm an
team.
Eastern Conference
Eastern
bachelor
Conference team.
again. Yeah, that's right.
And I'm back with my Knicks to get to the conference final.
No. No, you gave no caveats. He said if Embiid is healthy.
Nobody on earth was picking the Sixers without Embiid.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I said several times with Embiid healthy. Come on.
Yes.
Please.
I like this new wrinkle of the show. Gianna, ever since we started
Wiles
the
is picking
First
on
Things
him. I
First
don't know
Newlyweds
what's
game,
gotten into
That
it.
was a
Wiles has been
disaster.
really.
Well, he's mad
Wiles
because he hasn't won any.
Well, he's also a little mad.
I
If
mean,
you guys
you haven't.
check out our YouTube page, yesterday Wilds was the subject, and
Awful.
what we found out was Brew knows nothing about it.
Doesn't listen at all. I said,
got
Brew, I
one
told
right.
you
I
this
got
story
one right.
yesterday.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Braun was hot to start the game. Austin Reeves was not. Actually, he was cold the entire game. 3 for 18. Now, if you take 15 shots and you've ever worn a Lakers jersey, that's the lowest playoff field goal percentage for any Laker in the past 35 years.
Wow.
Team
Yeah, because most aren't getting 15 shots. You got to be a star to get
After
that
a while,
many
you're like,
shots.
you know what? I should probably start passing.
Yeah.
Team only scores 90. Here's LeBron.
Where do you think the offensive issues are coming from right now? Obviously, that's a great
Offensive
defense.
issues coming
Yeah.
from?
Yeah.
You know, we have a guy that averaged 37 a game. What, you averaged 35 this year? 33 and a half?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you What are you asking? When you play against the world champions, having a guy that averages 34, 6 and 8 and 8 and 9, whatever the hell that's special. So we have to be better.
Yep. All right, LeBron and Rui had 45. The rest of the team also had 45.
Not great.
That's how you got to 90.
Yeah.
Did last night prove to you that the Lakers can't win?
Can't feels a touch strong. However, it feels can't feels a touch strong because of the compelling argument Brew made yesterday when I called it a must-win in Game 1. And he was like, yeah, but if they lose Game 1 and then win Game 2, you're going to be feeling good. And that is rattled around in my brain this morning. So can't feel strong. However, a lot of what would need to happen for the Lakers to win happened last night, and they got clocked.
Yeah.
LeBron was the best player on the court. You could argue Chet. You could argue
really
Chet, but LeBron.
I say Chet.
LeBron
was great.
certainly outplayed SGA. So LeBron played really well. SGA had, I think, objectively, his worst game this season. You kept OKC off the offensive glass for the most part, and you kept them off the free throw line. Yeah. And you lost by 18 points. And they lost Brew every quarter by 3 to 6 points. I think they lost the quarter by 3, 4, 5, and 6 is how they got to the 18-point loss, which was, it did feel like each quarter the Lakers were in the mix for about the first 9, 10 minutes, and then eventually there was a little mini flurry at the end, and it's like, oh, okay, the Thunder are up 3. Now they're up 8. Now and eventually you get blown out in a game where the Thunder never hit you with a haymaker. They just hit you with 100 jabs again and again. It didn't even really
feel like a blowout.
No, but it was. That's my point.
I know it was,
That's my exact point. Is it didn't have. It wasn't. The Steph KD Warriors had a very clear way they blew everyone out when it felt like it was going to be close. It'd be close coming out of halftime. They would hit you with a 17-2 run to open the third quarter, and the game was over. That's the Thunder we have seen. They will get 5 steals on 6 possessions, go on a 13-0 run, and the game's over. The Lakers didn't fall into that fully, but they had just enough bad 4-play sequences that they were never able to get into it. And so, can't feels too strong, but I don't think the Thunder played great yesterday, and they won by 18 points.
Yeah, look, with all due respect to LeBron, who was superb last night, can't feels right. I mean, it feels right. All right, like you said, LeBron was great. DeAndre Ayton was pretty good. I mean, the stats are only 10 and 11, but he played pretty well.
And his foul trouble hurt them.
Yes. Rui had 18 points. Smart and Austin, and I'll get to Reeves in a moment, didn't play well, didn't shoot well. But to your point, I mean, SGA, I agree, it was his worst game of the season. And, Jalen Williams, who looks like he will be back at some point in this series, presumably, he didn't even play. And they still ran away with it. It was like, even though, I never felt, the Lakers could win it. You know what I mean? Even though it was close, even though it was tied at points.
7-0 to start felt good.
I mean, but you knew.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was down to 6
in the
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They were here. They were close for most of the game, and then OKC just pulled away. But obviously, OKC is just flat out better and really has the Lakers numbers. And I think they got some dog in them, OKC. Even though they're a bunch of nice guys and they got the college atmosphere and all that, they really like laying it on teams.
They're unbelievable.
Yes. And they have now beaten the Lakers 5 straight times by about 26 points a game. The last 5 times.
What does that side of the table believe in?
I
hear about it all year.
Due dates.
You guys believe it?
They're due to lose by single digits.
I will have a statement about that much later. But Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Now, 3 for 16, was it? And Austin, look, undrafted, has really become a very good player.
Oh, we're gonna
I'm not trying to poo-poo what he's done.
We're gonna get something.
He's not max. He's not a max player. And he's not a max player. Now, maybe he'll get the max, but I think it'll be a mistake. He's not a max
Who's
player.
the
The worst max player?
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many of. But
Every once in a while, like that guy makes the max.
But I understand what you're saying, Brew.
Yeah.
All year long, he has been. If you referred to LeBron as the Lakers' second best player, people looked at you askew. Like it was LeBron took a back seat all year long for Austin. And when people talk about the Lakers' plans in the year when they were so excited to get off LeBron, it was, well, we're going to have to pay Austin. All of that is true. Now, I'll let you finish. I do want to give him a little bit of.
And he's a good player.
He came off the injury earlier, but he has struggled against the Thunder and he struggled in the playoffs.
And that's the point. Like the Thunder, this is not an aberration last night. Look at his numbers this season. He played 4 games against the Thunder. All right, 4 of the 5. Look at him versus the Thunder versus everybody else. Everybody else in the league, he averages 28 points on 49% shooting. 24 points. The Thunder, 13, 4.5 turnovers.
Yeah, it's not good.
16% from 3. Like, those perimeter guys are too big, too fast for him.
He needs to get
stronger.
He can't. It's hard for guys to get faster, and I am consistent on this, and I really like Austin. And you're right. He has what he's made of his career already is remarkable.
Very good player. Should get a good, strong contract, but he's not a max guy.
But I also want to. Whatever he gets this offseason, KW, he needs to, in part of, living up to it.
Get a Bowflex.
Yeah. He needs to have some muscle definition. I'm not just comparing him because he's a white guy, but Alex Caruso had similar body type when he was a young player with the Lakers, and now he is out there looking like Greg Jennings. For real. And so there is an element of getting, a little stronger to deal with the Thunder's physicality.
And let me say this quickly. The reason LeBron deferred to Austin was not because Austin's better. It's because, as I said many times over the past 2 months, LeBron knew Austin has to play this way to be effective. I can do all these other things and still be effective.
Yeah.
And so
just quickly on Austin, remember Marcus Smart pushed, I forgot who it was, into Austin.
Yeah.
And it felt like he had that oblique injury. He's holding. I didn't know if he was wearing something under.
Yeah.
It looked like he was wearing a bulletproof vest or
I'm
something.
guessing he got the wind knocked out of him.
It felt like he was in a lot of pain to get the wind knocked. So I don't know. That hit my radar of, all right, maybe you're not 100%.
No, I don't think he is 100%, and I don't want to be too harsh on him because if he just had been like, hey, guys, I'm still hurt like Luka, we wouldn't be killing him. But Brew's point about this being a tendency against this team is
good defense.
Those are his worst numbers against any team in the league.
That's right. All right. Turn our attention to SGA. The soon-to-be 2-time MVP only scored 18, season low, and he turned the ball over 7 times at season high. Thunder still won by 18. Here was SGA and LeBron on SGA postgame.
It was okay. It wasn't my best. Wasn't my worst. Somewhere in the middle.
We're down 1. Same. Shea versus the Lakers is Lakers versus the Thunder. We're down 1-0. That's the main thing. Keep the main thing, and that's who win or lose. That's all it's about.
What'd you make of Shea's night?
The first quarter of yesterday's game and just what it looked like is why no matter what the accolades, numbers, and accomplishments are, it is hard to feel in your soul like he's the best player in basketball. And Bomani made this point, my good dear friend Bomani Jones, great broadcaster and also just a really good thinker, that you can, there's the accomplishments bucket, and then there is the how you make us feel while we're watching you bucket. And when I was talking with KW about this earlier, that is almost the old Kobe versus Duncan debate kind of falls into those two categories. Like, I fervently believe Duncan was a better all-time player, but Kobe made you feel a certain way. Right, he's a nobody's go debate. Kobe made you feel a certain way. And so Shea, because, and I do think there is, so that's just my emotion of it. But I also think there is a real reason for this shocking graphic, which is, in his last 140 regular season games, he has scored 20 every single time. Games under 20.0 of 140. Yet in that same exact time frame, in 1 out of 7 playoff games, he has failed to score 20. And my informed hypothesis is, having watched the Thunder a lot, and we'll run the video in a moment, that what he does in the first quarter of these games, by establishing to the defenders, if you just get in my general vicinity, I'm going to trick the refs and get to the free throw line, sets the tone to where that plus his immense skill makes him essentially unguardable. And so yesterday, the reason I believe he had his worst game of the year is it didn't work. Because this is a 4 consecutive play sequence I'm going to show you in the first quarter. First one is, I'm going to pretend, okay, you didn't get the whistle, I'll pass it instead of shoot it. Next one, all right, let me do this, I'll fall a bit, and that one he got. The next one is, I'm just going to fall over. Oh, wait, why am I not going to the line? And then, what if I just do it again? Wait, why am I not going to the line? And that then allows the defenders to be like, okay, we can actually play defense, and he adjusts a bit. And so he is, listen, I said all year long he was the MVP. MVP is not about style points, it's about your effectiveness. But that is unbecoming the best player on what might be a 2-time champion, and I do think that that is one of the reasons he is not as dominant individually in the postseason as he is in the regular season.
Well, you are facing better competition in the postseason.
That's true.
I mean,
that's
every
fair.
night it's against a very good team. So I think that probably has something to do with it. Look, he looks ridiculous on some of these plays. I mean, just keeping it real. It doesn't it really didn't bother me last night because he wasn't getting those calls. He only took 3 free throws.
Correct.
So if you want to go out there and do that, if you want to try to trick the refs, have at it. You know, players are always trying to do things. I mean, a lot of players flop. A lot of players try to get calls. You know, it is what it is. When he's not fouled, if he doesn't get it, I don't have a problem with it. He is still, though, he's so sweet in the mid-range. And I do think it's easier now to shoot the mid-range shot than ever because that's really, if the defense has to give up something, that's what they want to give up. But he still is incredible there. But last night, he had a bad game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think maybe I'm being generous if I say it was like a C- game for him.
Yeah.
You know, the 18 points on 8 of 15 shooting doesn't look bad at all. That's 53%. But with the 7 turnovers, some of them were terrible. And in the fourth quarter, he had 0 points. He was 0 for 3, 0 points. Second half, he only had 6 points, which obviously is bad news for the Lakers. He's going to be much better. But last night was not a good game. I still think, look, I've said Wemby's the best player in the league. All 3 of the guys that are going for it, Shea, Wemby, Jokic, I don't feel like any of that keeps Shea from being that guy.
Jokic not playing it. Wemby just had 11 points.
But Jokic is a defensive problem too nowadays. He's not as good as even he used to be defensively. And Wemby is young and inexperienced.
You thought Wemby's game 1
was much
better than Shea's game 1. Wemby's 12 blocks make up for the 7-point difference.
And 15 rebounds.
I don't think that was
7 turnovers.
I wouldn't, if I had to grade Wemby's game, counting the goaltends, I will still give it. If you're the best player in the world, I don't think you can have 9 points, lose with 45 seconds left.
Well, a lot of it depends on what your game is.
I mean, I just don't think Shea had a better. I don't think Shea had a better game 1 than Wemby.
Let me show you the stat that kind of either supports or debunks the idea that he's not the best. He doesn't lose. Since the start of February, when he plays, the Thunder are 25-1. So his bad games, he's still giving you 18, and the game is never in question. 25-1 is a nutty stat.
No, I mean I think that in Brew's defense, I think it's no longer active, but the Spurs I think were 24-1 in a 25-game stretch with Wemby, with the one loss being at Madison Square Garden around a similar time frame. Listen, I do think this, just real quick before we move on. The way the Lakers defended him similarly to how they defended Durant.
Yes.
And he dealt with it better. He still turned the ball over, but I still think he dealt with it better.
A lot of those, though, as you saw, some of them were him trying to get the foul. Bailing out, but yeah.
Do you agree with me that that is one piece of the Lakers' game plan they should not change? That they should say, listen, if A.J. Mitchell and if the kid from Philly, McCain, if Jared McCain, if those guys are hitting threes, we lose. Like it's a lot of bad options, but they should continue this approach on Shea. I think that part's
They threw a lot of different looks at him. Obviously, they picked him up, double-teamed him at half court, and double-teamed him all night for the most part. I agree. Yeah, I mean, it worked. Now maybe it won't work in game 2, but keep trying it.
Nothing's going to work.
I mean, that's probably true. It's the best team over the last 2 years against a team without its best player. It's probably not going to work.
Finally in Detroit, Cavs mounted a comeback, but the number 1 seeded Pistons pulled away. 4 straight wins for Detroit, some kind of sweep. Harden and Donovan combined for 45, but Harden didn't love his turnovers, and Donovan didn't love the lack of calls. Take a listen.
For me, I got to be better, and I will be better turning the basketball over. From turning the basketball over, getting shots up, and then it gives our defense a chance to get back and get set. I think we did it. Other than that, we played a pretty solid game.
The free throw disparity is not why we lost tonight. I want to make sure I say that, but I don't know. I'm trying to get downhill, and a friend of mine got fined for talking about flop, so I'm not gonna try to double down. But I mean, I feel like that's what I got to do at this point.
Okay, is this loss more on Harden or Donovan?
Well, look, both had their struggles, but Harden did give them 13 points in the fourth quarter. All right, I know he had the 7 turnovers.
No, he was having a brutal game until that, and then he salvaged it a bit.
Yeah, I mean and that was when the game was kind of in the balance. Both of these guys have struggled over the last 6 games. I don't know what's going on with Donovan Mitchell. We talked about it. He had been a very good playoff player, even though he never made it to the conference finals before. I don't know if it looks like they get along. I'm sure that's not a problem, but I don't know if there's just stylistically, do they not fit, but maybe you got to stagger their minutes a little more, but I don't know. But Donovan has not been himself lately. But my answer to this question, I think Harden played better. Donovan had, I think, 3 fouls and 6 points in the fourth quarter. But my answer is Jared Allen.
Wow.
Jared Allen, who you count on every night to give you 15 and 9, 15 points, 9 rebounds, had 2 points and 3 rebounds.
Not enough.
2 points and 3 rebounds. All right? He had 22 points, 19 rebounds, and 3 blocks in game 7. If it wasn't for that, they aren't even playing right now. And so he looked at Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart and said, I don't want none.
He also
I don't want
foul trouble, was not on the court that much.
He wasn't on the court. I think he only had, how many fouls he had?
He had 4 fouls.
Okay, he only had 4 fouls. Yeah, I know he did, but there's a reason he only played 18 minutes.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the Cavs as being wink, wink, because I can't wink, 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 finesse.
You can't wink?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I can't wink.
Hold on, you can't. Let me see it again.
I can't.
Just
okay, leave him alone. All right, go ahead.
I had to really have a rap.
Yeah,
with the girl. I couldn't wink on him. I had to have a rap.
I don't know if winking is a.
With some dudes,
in
some brothers,
In the 60s, you just winked at a lady across.
Exactly. Go ahead.
But anyway,
I can't wink.
Anyway,
you were saying they're finesse.
Yes.
Sorry.
And I'm not not looking. Harden is not. Criticize Harden all you want. He's not soft. Criticize Donovan all you want. They're not soft. I'm looking at the bigs, and they didn't want any.
Yeah.
And that's so Jared Allen got to step up.
All right, so I agree with that. I am, however, going to decide to answer the question there. That Jared Allen was of the wink, wink, big four. He was the weak
What a flex.
link. Listen, but Harden is who he is. No matter how many cumulative stat full screens Danny gives us, he's not a reliable playoff performer. And only because I got community noted on this and I'm still angry about it, I have to update one of our favorite graphics. James Harden's 45th career playoff game with as many or more turnovers as field goals made.
As many.
As many or more. Exactly. I sent out a tweet that just said more. I was wrong, and so I fixed it. And just for context, how many games they've all played. Harden's played, to be fair, more than Steph, but not that much more, and barely more than KD. But 45 is 25% of 180. He's played 181. So 1 in 4 of his career playoff games, he does something like that. He is, in this postseason, averaging 5.5 turnovers per game. He has 43 turnovers this postseason. Only Cade, of every player this postseason, has more than 28. Now, Cade has 45, but is Cade 45?
But you see Cade's responsibility versus Harden.
And Cade had like a super high turnover 3-game stretch. So there's that. But I'm not surprised by that. I'm a little surprised and disappointed by Donovan. And listen, Donovan is saying, I'm just not getting the calls. Maybe. I would argue Donovan is settling because he is leading all players this postseason by a lot in three-point attempts. He has 73 point attempts. Nobody else has more than 60. So he's first in that. Meanwhile, he is tied for 52nd in free throw attempts with 18. It's fewer free throw attempts than Christian Brown, who's at home, than Ayo Dosunmu, who's been injured. And game 1 of the playoffs, he got like the line 7 times, or shot 7 free throws. Since then, look at this. The last 7 playoff games, he has taken 63 frees and 11 free throws. That is the fewest free throws he's taken in any 7-game span, postseason or regular season, since the very beginning of his career. Wow. And so now, again, maybe, to be totally fair, I haven't watched every drive to the basket like these games have been on with other games on. So maybe he is not getting some of the calls. But I think some of it is he's just firing from beyond the arc. He's not. Wendy brought this up today, and credit Brian Windhorst because he's 100% correct. If he's not getting to the line, a lot of his effectiveness is muted, and he's getting to the line this postseason less than any other time in his entire career. It's a problem.
All right. Embiid is out tonight. Nick is going to make a new.
Well, I might have to watch the game.
I can't wink. Your mouth does.
Sixers Knicks tonight.
News today: Embiid is out. Take a guess at why he's out.
Well, it says on the screen, but
Hip and
otherwise
ankle.
I wouldn't have known.
I didn't even.
Right, that those were even bothering.
This poor guy.
Now with Embiid, the Sixers lost by 39. Now tonight they're going to have no Embiid. Your reaction to this news, and give us a new prediction and maybe even a new team.
Well, my first, I feel for Embiid.
Yes.
Okay. Emotionally, I will admit this. Emotionally, there's a part of me that's frustrated with him and really wants to blame him. But my head and my mind are telling me he can't help it. It is what it is, so I won't jump on him. My second thought is my Eastern Conference pre-playoff prediction is going to be right on the money. Knicks, Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. This series is over. It's over.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have. I don't know what would have happened. I thought Philly was going to win going into the series.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have been able to with Embiid. Without him, Philly's depth was this deep. They were this deep with Embiid.
Yeah.
Now you've got your, Oubre. You got four really legitimate starters at this point. Oubre, Edgecombe, Maxey, and George. And I guess they're going to start Andre Drummond.
And then Quentin Grimes is the sixth man. And
yeah, I mean, they have no depth. And the Knicks are teeming with depth. So they're in trouble. The question, it might, I think, it depends on how long he's out.
We don't know if he's out for the season.
Could be out just for
But if he's only out for this one game, I still think they're gonna the Knicks will win now.
And
they should win tonight. And then you're up 2-0.
And then you're
and then you should be able to win 2 of the next 5.
So I'll give analysis after I get, just like Brew did, my emotional reaction to it. I just really feel like this player is snake bitten. And I understand, like, if we really went through the year-by-year list of stuff, it is true that early in his career, he didn't take care of his body as well as probably he wishes he had. And he had a well-known, was it Shirley Temple?
Yeah, he loves Shirley
It
Temple.
was a big Shirley Temple habit. And, he was not early in his career Dwight Howard from a physical fitness, stature. I get that. But he has, as a guy who has dealt with real personal tragedy off the court and has matured in front of our eyes on the court, deserves to, when he finishes his career, not have so many what-ifs. It's one thing if it's like, hey, wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? I was great, but in the biggest moments, I just wasn't good enough. It's a different type of, cruelty to be like, who knows? Who knows if there was a period of time where my name should have been in that discussion of best player in the world, and I was going to show it to everyone in May and June, and he just hasn't had the opportunity. And what's crazy is, he was coming into the playoffs healthy, then an useless Oregon was about to burst. They had to take it out. Then when he came back, within a game, he looked dominant. And then we saw him get his knee hit, and yet it's a hip and ankle that's the problem.
Yeah.
And so all of that just feels just cruel.
Can I be glass half full?
Sure.
And they just came back and beat the Celtics. Why don't they just say, and Embiid doesn't feel great. He's like, you know what? If I sit this one out, I think we can win the 2 games in Philadelphia, and then I just need to rip off 2 more.
This is precautionary, that this is to give them the best chance at...
Yeah, we're probably not going to win this one anyways. I don't feel 100%. Why don't I rest, and then we try to win
I hope that's the case. I will also say all of my critique on the Celtics style of play, this is the perfect example of a game where a team should employ it. Philly should shoot 53s tonight. It's their game 2 against Boston strategy. Bombs away, fellas. We are not the more talented team. We are on the road. We are at a significant schematic disadvantage. So we are really going to shake up the variance here. Maxey, green light every time. Quentin Grimes, you get in there, you can shoot every single time you have an open look, shoot it. Paul George, think that it's 2019 Thunder, Paul George. Fire up 12 of them. Like that, I do think that is, in this circumstance, a very legitimate, smart strategy for a team to take. And I think it's what they need to do tonight to have a real chance against the Knicks.
Look, they obviously beat Boston in game 2 without Embiid. I just think, now, the Knicks, we saw it during the regular season. They were great at times, then they slumped. So I don't know if this is just, okay, the Knicks have really put it all together, and this is going to be essentially who they are the rest of the way, or is it just a high point and they are about to dip? But if the Knicks keep playing as well as they are, I mean, this is going to be a rout tonight.
Yes. I mean, if the Knicks don't cool off, absolutely.
And I think Embiid, it's a little different, but the comparison is Bill Walton. Now, Walton did win a championship early in his career and then just never was healthy. Probably even worse than Embiid as far as his health. But it's that type of view where Walton is still regarded, obviously, as a Hall of Famer and an all-time great. And I think Embiid, he doesn't have the ring, but he does have an MVP. He could be viewed like
very quickly here. This feels, Bill Walton, tell me if I'm remembering this wrong, suffered one massive foot injury, and it took him 2.5 years to recover, and he was never right again. Correct?
He never was right.
He never was right
Yeah.
again.
He came back and played for Boston.
Yes, and was sixth man, all that. But it was one specific body part injured that wrecked his career. This, and similar to kind of what happened to Grant Hill, you could argue, or different things. This with his ankles, this feels a different type of unfair, because it's so many disparate things that have happened to him, as opposed to like one career-altering injury, which we've seen in sports.
Well, remember, he missed his first two full seasons coming into the league. Yeah, so
his body's never been
meant to be.
Meanwhile, in San Antonio, the Spurs are looking to even the series tonight against the Wolves. Now, the series has officially started since the road team won Game 1. And if they win again, went down 0-2 at home in a best-of-7.
Look at that, bro.
5 teams have won the series. 29 teams have not. You would think this is a must-win, right, Brew, for your Spurs?
No.
What?
No. It's not a must-win. I mean, it's close, but you just showed it. Nick, you're the math guy. 5 out of 34 is more than I would expect if you're down 2. Right.
It's about 1 and 7.
And I'm old enough to remember. Now, they're not included in this graphic, but it's significant. Remember 2 years ago, 2024, this same Minnesota team essentially won the first 2 games in Denver. All right, and then lost the next. They lost the 2 in Minnesota, then lost the game 5 in Denver. Now they came back and won in 7.
Yeah.
But my point is, it was, you know what I mean? Like the series, they were actually down 3-2.
But I think it's harder. The reason this is noteworthy is a lot of teams lose the first 2 on the road and feel like we're okay.
No, but that one was, they lost the first 2
in Denver on the road. That's my point.
No, I think they lost the first 2. No, you're right. It was in Denver. But there's one that I do remember was Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming, and the good coach and Jeff Van Gundy.
Yep.
2005, they won the first 2 in Dallas against Dirk.
2005.
And then, hey,
I've got the 5 instances.
Yeah, it does. Like, look, obviously they would be in trouble if they lost tonight, but would I write them off completely? Especially with the Timberwolves being banged up, and is that knee or knees going to get better over the next week and a half, or are they going to get more sore? You know what I mean? So, I look. I'm not trying to act like it wouldn't be a major hole. I'm just saying it is not a must-win. Like the series is over if they lose this game.
So I think it is definitely a must-win, and I think they should win tonight. They're 10.5-point favorites. Minnesota got the first game. They should win tonight. But the other, I think it's a must-win because of what Minnesota winning tonight will say about both teams. I think if Minnesota wins tonight, it means Wemby didn't come out and say, I scored 11. All right, I'm about to go score 35 and be dominant on defense like we saw him during his MVP push, right? And it will say, wait a minute. Is Minnesota just one of the 2 best teams in the league? Did Minnesota, what they did to Denver, we're all blowing up Denver because of it, but was that maybe more about Minnesota? If they then go to San Antonio and beat them in both of those games, like you said, when they're not even fully whole, was Minnesota truly just like, man, we don't care about the regular season. We know we're not getting the 1 seed. Oklahoma City, San Antonio, way out there. The difference between 3, 4, 5, 6 matters nothing to us. We're not going to be in the play-in, whatever. Wake us when it's playoff time. And I also think the history of the teams that have accomplished it, I'll just tell you who they are real quick. 1969 Lakers did it. They had Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, and Elgin Baylor, and they were down to San Francisco Warriors. Akeem and the Rockets, the first year they won the title, fell down 0-2 to Barkley and the Suns in Houston. They came back and won. You mentioned Dirk with Tracy and Yao. Boston, as a 1 seed, fell down 0-2 to Chicago in the series where Rondo broke his thumb for Chicago and then was out the rest of the way. Boston came back, and then the Clippers fell down 0-2 to very young Luka, and then the Clippers came back. What all of those teams have in common, except for maybe Dirk against Tracy and Yao, is the team that was down 0-2 was just soundly and resoundingly the better team. If Minnesota wins tonight, I will not think San Antonio is just clearly Minnesota's gotten lucky.
No.
That San Antonio's the better team. And so that plus the fact that if they fall down 0-2, to me, their best case scenario is that it's 3-1 Minnesota headed back to San Antonio. And I don't think this Timberwolves team is blowing a 3-1 lead.
What do you see tonight for Wemby? Quickly, Brew.
I see a lot of blocks again. Now, look, Chris Finch was smart in bringing I don't think he's complaining. Yeah, I think it was gamesmanship with the refs. So they'll be looking for the goaltends. But I think if they keep attacking the rim, I think he's going to keep blocking shots. So I think he'll have at least 7.
7?
Wow.
6 or 7 blocks.
And how many
and
points?
I think it'll be at least 24, 25 points.
Yeah, I kind of want to see more.
He might have more, but that's very possible that it's 24, 25.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.
Celtics season is